Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 1 of the Splash Bros TV podcast. I'm Bill Numbers, joined by my incredible host,
OT Flago.
Uptown Mill.
And today we have a special guest. We're going to be interviewing Flago. Tell us about the guest there.
We're interviewing two intelligent young black women, Miss Danielle, Miss Gloria. Thank you for being on the first episode of Splash Bros TV.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us on your inaugural podcast. This is wonderful. And thank you for the warm introduction. That's not normal.
Today, we wanted to bring you to, for two major topics that have been going on here. One, a lot of people have the idea that going to college and getting a degree is a waste. So, Gloria, we want you to speak on, because you have your degree. Are you in the field?
Yes.
Okay. We want you to speak on that. And then another topic, Ms. Walker, we want you to speak on is a lot of people are in the mindset of the best thing to do in Philly is to leave. So that's what you did. So we want to know about your experience, the whole pack up and reset experience. Who do you want to start with?
Start with Gloria. First, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What school did you go to?
I went to Drexel University for my undergrad and then Hofstra University for my graduate degree.
And what was your major in your grade undergrad?
So at Drexel, I majored in design and merchandising. So I wanted to go into fashion first, and then when I decided to move in a different direction, then I went to get my MBA at Hofstra.
Did you design those two outfits you have?
I did not. I did stylist, but I didn't design.
Oh, you styled
everything.
both?
Yeah, I stylist.
What was your major in your grade?
So I got an MBA in marketing.
So that basically goes hand in hand, fashion and marketing.
Yeah. So when I got my design and merchandising degree, it's more so just like working in stores and stuff like that. But I wanted to go into like advertising and marketing, more into business. So that's why I went back to school.
No, was that something that you wanted to do at a young age?
No, like at a young age, I wanted to be like a fashion designer or something. And then when I realized I didn't really like sewing and all that stuff and like designing as much as just like styling and dressing, that's why I went to like merchandising.
So give us a brief synopsis of the college degree, get a job timeline.
So undergrad, graduated, and I don't need to tell my years. I graduated, and then I think I found the job pretty quickly because I did like an internship. That's what Drexel does. Mm-hmm. And so I got a job in a clothing store, and then I was doing that, like floor displays and stuff, and like going to different stores. And I liked it, but I felt like there wasn't much room for advancement. So I started getting some like random jobs to save up money. Then I went back to school to get my MBA in New York. And that was a little setback because I wanted to stay in New York, but New York is pretty expensive. So I moved back to Philly. And then it took me about a year or so until I found like a job at the advertising agency that I'm at now. So it was, a pretty long timeline, but I feel like along the way I was still doing things that led me to where I am.
What was the biggest challenge you said?
Probably moving back and forth, like moving to New York, and then I was like looking for a job while I was there, and I felt like that wasted a little bit of time because at the end of the day I didn't want to like spend all my money just living in New York. So I moved back and with my parents for a little bit, and then and then I found a job maybe like a little under a year after that.
No, for that whole experience, is there anything that you would like do differently?
I don't think so. Like, I think it was just like you never know what's going to happen. Like, I could plan everything and then something could come up. So I think I took a good amount of time to realize that what I did with my undergraduate degree, I wasn't really happy with. And that's like what a lot of people forget. Like, there's loans and stuff for you incur debt if you go to school, depending on like where you go, but it can be worth it because you can just move, you can do whatever you want. Sometimes even if you have a degree in one thing, just the fact that you went to school and like you learned something and kind of like got that degree can help you as well.
So with that I'm glad you said that because I was actually the next question has everything to do with what you just said. As far as your degree, does it give you like negotiating power when you go to these, when you sit face to face with these, interviewers or companies?
Yeah, it does. I would say not a degree alone, a degree as well as experience in what you want to do. So even I would like always encourage people, like even if you're going to school, to like try to find a job in what you want to do and like start getting internship experience or even like volunteer experience, because the degree alone, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, that's just going to get you wherever. But as long as you're like combining it with like doing other things and like really working towards what you want to do, I think it's more helpful that way.
Now, what made you initially go to Drexel compared to like other schools, I guess?
So I applied to Drexel, Howard, University of Maryland, and University of Pitt. And it was basically like a process of elimination. I got into all four, but only Drexel and Howard had the design and merchandising degree in particular. Pittsburgh, it just had like a general program. It didn't really have a fashion program, so I felt like I would have been settled if I went there. And then University of Maryland, it was like the same thing. So I didn't want to stay in Philly, but I felt like I'm not going to just go somewhere.
So what made you choose Drexel over Howard?
They just, excuse me, they had a better program, and again, the internship thing like really kind of took them over the edge. So it was like, instead of even going to class, you have a dedicated like 3 months to like just work. So I felt like that would have given me like a little up to like, I don't have to worry about working and going to school at the same time, and I'm getting credit just for working.
So two main questions. The first one is, to those who say getting a degree is a waste because you're going to owe student loans and stuff like that, and that a lot of good jobs don't require a degree. What's your answer to that?
I think it's to each his own, and I think the path that I took might not be the same path that everyone else takes. Some people do just go to school just to say that they went. Some people do go because they actually want to like learn more and stuff. I think it depends on the major that you go into. Say business school is a lot different than if you just want to go into like art or something like that. Like it just depends on your path. Would I love to not have had as much, or not currently have as much student loan debt as I do? Yeah, but I still think it was worth it.
Can I jump in on that? I mean, I know the question wasn't directed towards me. But, I'm gonna let y'all be great right now. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all be great. I'll add this. At any rate, regardless if you're getting just a certificate or you're going to a training school, every single person needs some additional training or certification after high school if you want to make money. It doesn't have to be a degree, but if you want to work for SEPTA, you have to go through a training program. If you want to work in electricity or in as an electrician, you have to go through some type of training. So when people talk about college, I think we have to reframe the way that we're talking about post-secondary success. We're talking about something past high school.
So y'all basically saying, besides the degree, they need to actually have a plan if they're going to chase the degree.
You need a legit plan. You need to make sure that you're building up your experience. When we graduated in 2009. I'm just saying, we look great for our age, okay? We look great, period. We graduated and we were, you gonna disrespect your guests on your inaugural podcast? Doing it for free. Okay, we'll be edited out. Keep that. When we graduated in a recession. So most of the jobs that were available, they weren't hiring us. We didn't have experience. And one of the biggest things that you'll notice when you apply to a job, they'll give you degrees and certifications, but they'll also say 5 to 10 years of experience. And we didn't have that. So in addition to getting that degree, you also want to set yourself up for success by getting experience. So one of the things that Drexel did provide was a co-op experience that provides you that little bit of experience. But in addition to that, you want to make sure that you're taking opportunities like apprenticeships, where you go directly to the place that you want to work and they train you specifically on the job. And a lot of times you can make more money than someone with a degree who's coming straight out of college.
Right.
So just get something else. On average, I believe I think this is right. On average, someone with a college degree makes $1 million more over their lifetime than someone with just a high school diploma. So you make more based off of the certifications. Again, it doesn't have to be a bachelor's degree. It's great. That was my journey. I live a great life. I have loans, but I still live comfortably.
So,
But other people, I know plenty of other people who don't have college degrees and they're doing very well.
so, like I don't have a college degree, and you said the average person makes $1 million. The average person with a college degree makes $1 million more than someone who doesn't.
check those
On
facts.
average. Yeah, you can check it.
I'm gonna check the facts.
So can I like borrow $1?
Can you borrow $1? It's on average. Do we know what average
We might
is?
not be
She's saying she's not one of those.
She's an outlier.
That's
I'm saying that as someone who's single,
Excuse me.
single, living by myself, I do well. I do well for mine. Not well enough to be living OT Flacco $1.
All right, Gloria, the second question I had now, you started off like before college and school, you had a, would you say rough childhood? Like that?
No.
You had challenges?
No.
Well, the reason I'm asking is we want to see exactly.
I feel a setup coming.
No. We want to see the obstacles. That you
Okay.
had. So you were.
First,
When we told the people about our guests, we were giving some information. That you,
What is this?
now
Somebody
you,
take my bike.
listen,
What is this?
you were notorious shoplifters.
Excuse me. What is this?
Well,
What is this?
we have here
some evidence.
documentation of this was before high school, but this is
Criminal background.
criminal background and mugshots.
Excuse me. I passed all my
What
criminal.
about that mugshot there?
What is it?
Excuse
Much that word.
Who is Palmer?
Excuse me, that is the person,
Rippler and
the
Associates?
detective that.
Can you do it?
Are y'all serious right
Excuse me
now?
now. We need to know.
Break that up.
Excuse me. We need to know, did that play a part, create extra struggle with your
What is the
education?
additional trash in your hand?
No, this
So-
Is this how you welcome your
No, we
guests?
need to know about that.
This is very interesting.
No. We don't need you to read. If you want to
Excuse
answer
me,
the
no.
questions.
So,
Are-
do these letters work? Do people, based on my observations, they usually do not. So this is very interesting. So this is a fake.
Excuse me, that's not
background
fake
check?
anything. No.
So when you're going out and you're looking for a job, I would please just make sure that you do your own background check. Do you do your own
So
background
look
check?
for a job.
No, people do background checks.
Are you
to
talking
get a
about
job.
as an employer?
No, when you're trying to get a job.
Yeah.
Do your background check.
Are you talking about do your background check on yourself?
Yeah.
Because you would have never known that came
No, this is fake.
She
No,
would
that's
have
not.
found out that it was
This is all
trash.
fake.
What if we got pulled over and he was told it?
Can I see that? Can I see that real quick?
I'm about to get ripped up as
I
well.
don't know. That's trash. Why are you putting it in
Thank you for your input about the subject, though, Gloria. And Danielle. So we're going to the subject two
Danielle
now.
Walker.
Okay.
Miss Walker.
Miss Walker.
Mrs. Walker.
No, Miss
No.
Walker for all those, you know,
No.
We're both in.
all those folks that are watching.
Excuse me.
Danielle single with a great job.
Now,
No kids, just a dog.
can you tell us the main reason you decided to leave the place you were born and
The
raised?
three of you.
You were not born and raised here.
Oh, you saw where I was born and raised.
I see.
I was born and raised, for those who don't know, because you didn't provide any context or background. I was born and raised in Rochester, New York.
Well, we're talking about where you live for the majority.
I was born and raised in Rochester, New York. I attended K through 12, all in Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
But like anyone, I wanted a different experience. I wanted to get out of Rochester. The jobs that I was interested in applying to were not, that they weren't really, there weren't a ton of jobs that I was interested in Rochester. So I said, let me just get out. My dad was the only person in our family that went to college. So most of what I understood, well, my dad and then my older brothers. But what I knew about going far away was basically based on that information. Now, my brothers are 5 to 7 years older than me, and a lot had changed when they went to school compared to when it was time for me to go. So I decided, in an uninformed way, to go to Drexel. Out of state, which meant that I didn't get in-state funds. So Drexel was even more expensive for me. But I had a full ride to Lincoln too, but I decided not to go to Lincoln. I was looking for an experience where I was in school in a city.
So you didn't want the black experience.
Well, seeing as how I'm actually Black,
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
So you'll just keep quiet while I answer the question. We'll get to you later. So I went to Drexel and I made the decision. Had never even visited Drexel. The first day I showed up, like the first day of moving in, was the first time I had been on that campus. So I left. I came to Philly. I liked it for the 4 years that I was there. I met my best friend Gloria.
Oh.
I know. It's so beautiful. And those were the summer.
She's finished.
I'm finishing. It's just odd to me that we're brought on as experts in these topics, and we're being cut off.
I'm sorry.
It's odd. Never had one of these experiences on a podcast ever in all of the podcasts that I've been on. But it was the best 4 years of my life. But when you say, I never. No, I only did 4 years. But what happened was the first year you get your summer off at Drexel. And then after that, you go to school year round.
But there are 5 year rounds.
Yeah.
Our major was just 4 year though.
Yeah. So I came here, but like anybody, you get tired of being in one place. And when I moved back to Philly for work, I never planned for this to be my last stop.
Oh, so you always planned to move?
Yeah, I knew that Philly wasn't gonna be home.
So
for a long time.
So the stigma, like you gotta get out of Philly, that wasn't for you. That was just because you had a plan.
Yeah, like you have to keep in mind too, the stigma that I had about Rochester having to get out is probably the same feeling that people have about Philly wanting to get out. Like you always, when you grow up in a place, you're used to it, right? You get used to like seeing the same people. You get used to like the jobs that are available, and then when you go on vacation, you're like, oh, I love being here. I love being in Miami and LA, and so you get used to wanting something there.
So can you tell us a little bit about Rochester, like the people that
So it's a smaller city. And I would say that it has the same issues that larger cities have. So just like Philadelphia's education system struggles in terms of funding from state, local, and wherever else it gets its funding from, Rochester struggles the same way. Violence and crime is not great in Rochester either.
Is it like a diverse city or?
No. I mean, I wouldn't call it diverse.
Is it predominantly black?
I can't give you I don't want to be lying and like give you the exact statistics.
Your opinion.
But I will say this: like it's a city. It's what you would expect in any other urban city is what you would see in Rochester.
Okay.
The same struggles, the same issues with poverty, opportunity, all of those things exist. Crime. I mean, Rochester was on the news quite recently, so.
So after Drexel, the decision to go to DC was made. Why?
Well,
DC?
it wasn't immediately after Drexel.
Oh well, no.
So
after Philadelphia.
So did something happen that made you say, "I'm out"?
Yes, I'm at Padrizia.
So basically, the dating life situation.
The what?
She didn't date
No.
anyone. Let's make that clear.
Understand. So keep in mind, I graduated in 2009. I went back to Rochester. My dad was diagnosed with cancer my last year of college. I went back home. I couldn't find a job. I ended up staying home and taking care of my dad. He passed away maybe a year and a half after I moved back home. And when that happened, I was like, I have to get out.
Oh, so wait, it was Philly back to Rochester, no, Rochester to DC.
No, Rochester to Philly.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah, so I was in Rochester for maybe 2 years. I came back to Philly, no job. The only job I had was working at Beulah as a camp counselor. So I did that. What'd you say?
It's a good job.
Oh,
it is a good job.
Same with kids.
You live at this church summer day camp.
Make sure you guys look it up.
So they don't do background.
So I did
that.
Camp. Exactly. Oh yeah, Gloria was the director.
So that's how you got in?
Yes, that is how I got in. It's about who you know.
Sometimes
correct.
it's about
Pay attention, fellas. This is the best you're gonna get.
Later for shopping.
I was in Philly for 7 years. I worked for the school district. I worked for the city of Philadelphia. You want to move on. You want to find new opportunities. You want to make more money. So I found a job to apply to in DC, and I got the job.
Let me ask you this though.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
When you went to DC, what was the process as far as finding like new barbershops?
I'm glad you asked.
Well, first of all,
I'm glad you asked.
That's an important question.
Aaron doesn't have an issue with finding a barber. You clearly need to switch barbers, but we don't know what you're doing under that cap. So,
it's
That's a legitimate question.
no, it's not.
How is that a
You
legitimate
already
question?
know that I cut my own hair.
I did not know that. I did
Yeah,
actually
I
not
cut
know
my
that.
own hair.
No, first of all, I did not know that.
I've told you this multiple
You did.
times.
I didn't know that.
you all knew.
I cut my own hair.
I never knew that.
Oh, that's good.
It's actually one of those things that catch, like, when I'm out, it's like a fun fact about me. Really, it's like something that grabs all the men.
Because you and Gloria speak about this quite often, but you're both single, correct?
It's interesting that we jumped
because
from the topic of moving.
a lot of your friends have like mentioned, how much they like her hair,
All
they
the
like her
time.
brush cut, they want to brush her hair, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They want to
That's
throw away
creepy.
pamphlet.
They want to throw away a pack on.
So maybe you should go speak to them, and then they'll, let you know. They'll let you know why they said those things.
But
Somebody
the
said
lack of a man, though. What is,
The lack of a man.
yes, a man in your life.
The lack of a man in my life.
Yes. Well, in DC, is there a dating scene there?
I moved to DC in February, like a month before the pandemic really hit.
Oh, so the pandemic has pretty much.
I went on 2 dates before the pandemic hit.
In DC?
Yes.
How was it? How was it?
They were interesting.
Where did you still talking to these men?
No, I'm not.
Where did you go?
Huh?
Where did you go?
Where did I go on dates?
Yeah.
One was Busboys and Poets.
I heard
and
about
then the other place was just a cafe, a random cafe.
Now, when you went on these dates, is you?
Hold on, just pause. So I just want to be clear. Initially, I was asked about picking up and moving to DC, and now it switched to my romantic life.
Yes.
And you can ask
So I just want to be clear. You guys are not interested in talking to two educated Black women
We are.
about their
That's why we about to
careers.
say-
You're here to talk to us about men.
No,
So if you want to talk about men, you can
No.
talk about men.
No,
We
we
can
don't.
use you guys
No,
as examples
listen.
for what we
Because we have a wealth of
Can I say
knowledge,
something?
and then we have questions
Your,
that we
your
have.
tone kind of
Make sure you
changed
get
a little
your
bit.
questions.
Exactly.
I'm just trying
Could
to
that be a
understand
reason
why.
You said my
why?
tone changed?
Yeah.
My tone changes in accordance to what I'm being asked.
But we're still calm, so I just wanted to understand.
So I should model
We
my
can change
behavior
that.
after
We can
yours.
change that.
How do you like DC? Like compared to Philly?
So Aaron
Uh,
doesn't want to be alive.
Yes,
So
Aaron.
he's
And I
trying to
appreciate
stay.
that, Aaron. I appreciate that. How do I like DC compared to? No, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. Because it's a lie and she's not a shoplifter.
Move on.
We run our background check.
Thank you.
I like DC. I haven't had the opportunity to really explore
In
because
order.
it's been closed.
DC, Philly, Rochester.
My family's in Rochester. So
Well, all right, fine.
it's
DC and Philly.
it's not one or the other. Well, because it's not a.
If somebody told you had to live in this place for the rest of your life, you had to choose between DC or Philly. which one would you choose?
No one can make that decision about my life.
So
Danielle, answer the
Right now, at
because
this
your time
very
is a lot about what happened.
excuse me.
Thank you.
Right now in my life, I would choose DC. But if you ask
Oh,
me,
really?
Gloria, if I had to live the rest of my life,
Interesting.
Gloria, you're 2 hours from me.
Interesting.
You're
That's
all
what
I
we were trying to get to the bottom of, the root
Right.
of this friendship. That's what was the problem.
Oh, that's what this podcast is about.
No.
The root of Danielle and Gloria's friendship. Because that's what your listeners want to hear.
Well, no. We actually are going to have a therapy episode where you two can
Oh,
work out your
please.
friendship issues.
And
Who's
who's
gonna
going to
be
be
part
the
of it?
therapist?
There's gonna be another chair though. For
And who's going to be the one monitoring?
Yeah.
somebody else is not here right
You
now.
guys first. I think you all have a lot to work out in your friendship.
You sure did.
That's good. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank
Back to
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Okay, well, we would like to thank you
Yes,
two for
brothers.
coming on to our podcast.
Is this the end?
Of you.
We have questions prepared as
Yeah.
well.
No. We can say that for another time. What kind of questions you have?
We have one question for each of you.
For the next episode, we'll get
Oh,
to
you're
that.
nervous? You don't want us to
Nervous.
shake things up yet?
You've literally changed the entire format of what was happening.
Because it's
today.
our show. That's what.
Prior to us coming, you gave us 2 questions that we will be discussing, and now it's turned into
That's the same sign.
a ish show.
So we're gonna thank our lovely guests for coming on to our
Give
show.
a round of applause.
Round of applause.
Thank you very much.
So is there going to be
Do you guys do?
a
Do you guys have?
Q&A when this is put on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Do you guys have? You want to
Anything
tell
you
them
wanna
where
say
they
to
can
the-
follow you and stuff like that on social media?
Call me at 555.
Well, I don't have a social media, so.
That's good.
But I'll be back on Glow Numbers __. Danielle, what's your social media?
I will be sharing my social media. But if you'd like to get in contact, if you'd like to get in contact with me, please don't contact any one of these people. I'm not interested in meeting new people.
Well,
But I am, so what's
well, the doors right there.
We'll be staying.
and monitoring the rest of this experience.
No, seriously though, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. This
Appreciate
is
it.
a very nice. We're glad to grace
Thank you for your insight.
your first
Appreciate
episode.
it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers.
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 Air cheers.
So our next guest we have today is entrepreneur, Mr. Stanley. He's from Philadelphia, and one of the big things we wanted to talk about is one of the most lucrative ways to operate in Philadelphia is and everywhere is real estate. So Mr. Stanley, he has a property. He's going to give us like a brief overview of his process for buying his first property. So, introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself, Mr. Stanley.
Thank you for having me. My name is Stanley DeLonge. My first property that I purchased was back in 2017, July. The reason why I wanted to purchase this property like that is because it was a guru, so to speak. I'm not gonna mention his name. I read his book, and he basically was saying in his book, it was an e-book. He was saying, as you get into the real estate game, you can basically it's two ways. You can get your dream house first, or you can go by making passive income. And the way he said it was a duplex. He would live on the bottom floor, and the folks upstairs that he's renting to would basically pay his mortgage. So that's where I got this idea from. And also, before I read his book, I always wanted to, before my mom passed away in that year in 2017, that August. Yeah, thank you. There was a plan that I had in the works, because I just feel as though like we work, and that's not the way to enjoy life. I always been a big believer that assets pay for liabilities, and I have 2 kids, so at the end of the day, I want to dedicate more time to my kids. I don't want the job taking advantage of my time, so to speak.
And real estate you can pass on to your kids, though.
Absolutely.
That's legacy right
I got a question about real estate for you. For most people who are not like really into it, they think real estate is literally just buying a property, selling it, or renting it out. Which that is a part of it, but they think that's the only way. If you break down like there's multiple ways to make money with real estate, like
You're absolutely right.
Wholesaling.
yeah, like a lot of people don't know that, it's ways you can actually get into real estate without having money or without having to use your own money.
When you break it down, do it like real estate for dummies 101, like
Absolutely.
to start out.
So, Flacco, that's a great question. And a lot of individuals do think like that. You need a license. You don't need a license. There's many ways to get into real estate without a license. Wholesaling is the biggest one. You don't need a license for wholesaling. Wholesaling is basically where you're basically the middleman, and you're pushing paper.
Right. The broker in the middle,
right,
between the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. You're just the person in the middle. You're the broker. You bring the buyer and the seller together. You can bring the buyer and you can bring the buyer and the seller to the table without them even knowing.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to
The house auction thing.
not even the house auction. I got a brain for it. But when you come to the closing table, the title company. When you go to the title company, you would bring. Well, let me start off with wholesaling. Wholesaling is basically where you find a distressed property. No windows, Mel is overflowing, grass is yay high. You get in contact with that owner. You can skip trace. You can ask people in the neighborhood what's the owner's phone number. You get in contact with that person. When you get in contact with that person, you offer them, but you don't offer them because the property is just a beat up property. So you would offer them. Let's say I'm gonna just throw around like $10,000. So you offer them $10,000. Now, after you locked in and you got that homeowner at that price, your job is to find an end buyer. You go out, you find a buyer. Now, the way you make your money, you would offer that property, that same property that we're talking about. You would, and I'm just breaking it down in layman's terms.
Right.
You would offer that person. You would say the property is $30,000. So now you would give the end buyer would give you would make a $10,000 profit.
Right.
10,000 goes to the seller, 10,000 goes to you, and then at the end of the day, the buyer gets that property. So everybody's happy.
License or no license?
No license for this.
No question. Well, wholesaling, right?
They had no money, but you had to put down.
Well, but
You're just using the end buyer's money.
right.
So
When you
question.
say your personal money, no money.
No money out your pocket at all.
So question, right? Well, wholesaling. One is that because I've been hearing things that's probably one of the best ways to get into real estate if you don't really know too much, because they said wholesaling is just as much as a learning process as any. Because you're doing a lot of analyzing and researching. Is that true?
Yes. It's a great. You learn a lot of stuff from wholesaling because you're dealing primarily you're dealing with a buyer that probably has over a portfolio of 30 plus houses. You know what I'm saying? And this guy has a lot of money. This guy or female has a lot of money.
They don't feel like putting in the league.
And they don't feel like putting in the legwork. So you're basically putting in the legwork. You're going over your sheet, trying to find those sellers. You're going around driving, just putting down addresses, and it's easy.
So, question: how long is the process with like wholesaling? Like, how long does that take?
Great question. So, September 1st, if you were to start September 1st, and you're driving, you put an amount of work in. You don't even have to drive for dollars.
Just different property you're talking about?
You're driving around the city
To check for property.
to check for properties that are abandoned, beat up. You can do that as well, or you can go on the internet with various sites where you can just look up these owners that own these properties, and they have. In America, they say it's like 50,000 vacant homes. So it's a lot of owners, they don't want to deal with this problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
This owner might be in another country, South Dakota. They're like, oh, you see my property in Philly? I don't want it. Boom. You got somebody that's don't want to deal with that. So you hit like September 1st, you hit the ground running. You go over your list. Now you put in that work. Within that month, you're guaranteed to find a seller. Going into October, you're gonna get that buyer. So to answer your question, it takes a month and a half. If you really put that grind, you're dedicated to it.
But do you think it's harder to find someone who's actually selling the house or somebody who's willing to buy it?
Willing to buy it. I think it's hard to find a buyer. You gotta really do a seller. It's so easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
But an end buyer, you gotta really do your homework with this end buyer. And the end buyer.
So a big part of it, would you say, would be like networking and stuff like that?
Right. Go out to your local associations where you just network. You got realtors, homeowners that come out, hard money lenders, just everybody that's come out and just pass your card out.
Would you suggest going to like Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff like that?
Absolutely. You come across folks there. Home Depot, the rent court, we find a lot of folks that's, buyers there as well. Share stuff. You find a lot of buyers there. It's title companies. They deal with buyers all the time. So you just got
wholesale versus buying a property like a duplex. What's like what would you recommend a person that wants to get into real estate go for like doing a wholesale route or finding a property? Because at first I heard that to buy the property, you gotta have money to buy the property to be able to rent it out, right?
Absolutely. You gotta put a mortgage
on it, right? So you would think that a wholesale would be the easier route, right? Well, not easier as far as I'm talking about easier to get into real estate going the wholesale route.
It's easy going the wholesale route. I would recommend that you go the wholesale route. It was just my dream to purchase a duplex first, but I would recommend the easier way and less money you have to spend is the wholesale route. So not in detail your financial business, but so when you buy a property, you take out a mortgage. So you like for example, a basic structure is, let's just say you buy a property for $50,000, take out a mortgage for $50,000, you put the $10,000 down. Is that about a good estimate, or is duplexes, what is the going rate for duplexes now? Anyway? Well, in the section that I bought the property in is right in North Philly section, right off 100 Park, 5th and Luzerne, and it's right around the corner. I bought the house for $80,000. I had to bring a closing total I had to put down for everything, the fees, was around like $4,000. Oh. It was just. But that's also you had to be approved because of the credit. Right. What's the right now? I think you told me before right now in this current climate the credit score is about 680 or something. You have to be at a 660. A great credit score is a 680 because they're actually they're raising the bar with this pandemic situation. So you have to be right there. And then another thing with individuals when they're buying properties, they go spend on their personal side of credit, which I don't suggest that you do because you have the mortgage lenders checking your spending patterns. Mm-hmm. So I don't recommend you do that. When I was buying a property, I spent credit on my business side. Because business credit doesn't show up on your personal side. So I went that way. And it was a process from April I got pre-approved. May, June, and July we closed. Okay. So it was a 4-month process. All right, so that transitioned to right now you're about to go into your own business venture. Yes, I am. You want to talk about that? Yes, it's going to be a credit repair. It's going to be a credit repair company that I'm doing. It's Belange Enterprises. I'm teaching individuals how the different data points that they need on their credit report. Credit report it consists of data points. You have to have 10 or more accounts on your, which they call basically trade lines, 10 or more. You have, with inquiries, you have to have between 2 and 3. You just have to structure your credit report. it's a lot that goes in with credit.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Right.
What's some of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make as far as when they're trying to get credit?
Say that one more time, Dylan.
I said, what's some of the mistakes that people make when they're trying to establish credit?
When they're trying to establish credit, what you mean as far as repairing it or
Just starting off and say I'm 18 years old, I just graduated high school and I want to get credit. Like, what's some of the biggest mistakes that people make?
The biggest mistake that people make, they just spend. Reckless spending. You don't want to do reckless spending when you first get a credit card.
Yeah, people look at credit cards as free money.
It's free money, and it's like it's just basically.
Because I know when I was younger, I had friends that, you go to like one of those stores, Macy's or something like that, and they said, hey, sign up for this card or this credit card or whatever. Now, would you say that's kind of like a mistake that,
No, that's a great idea, but you can't reckless spend. If they give you a limit of, let's say you go to Macy's, they give you 500. You have to keep that under 10%.
Keep your overall balance
Under 10%. So basically, let's do a math on that. I wasn't a great math.
That's $50. That's 10%.
Yeah, that's $50, right? So you would want to keep that. You would want to keep that under 10. You would want to keep that right at $45. You know what I'm saying? Then you just pay it on time. You establish that good line of credit with Macy's. And along the way, as you're going along, they're going to keep this. They're like, man, I can trust that person. They're going to keep increasing your limit. And then after you finish having that for 3 to 4 years, now you got that age on your credit. That's another factor. Age. How you spend on it. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of factors that go on the credit.
So your business is going to do what for?
Credit repair funding.
Credit repair as in people who have bad credit. What do you mean, like helping them build their credit back up, or you have a tool that
I'm going to build your credit. I'm going to tell you what you need for your credit to be great. If you come to me, you have no credit. We're going to put trade lines on your credit so lenders can trust you. I'm going to repair your credit. If you have a eviction, if you have a repossession, it's at the end of the day, folks think it's the end of the world if they have an eviction, divorce, repossession. They think they can't come back from that. But at the end of the day, we as consumers, we have laws that protect us. And it's easy to build your credit back up. It's easy to get back in the game.
So if somebody's interested in your services, how would they get in contact with you?
You could, I have a website, belongeenterprises.com.
We'll put a link in the description.
With an S. My Instagram is, as we speak, my Instagram and everything is getting built up. I also have, I'll give you guys my number as well. Don't hesitate to call at all. It's 267-978-5539. 267-978-5539. And you guys can reach me at that number as well. Yeah, you can just get at me, and these fine gentlemen, they know my my information as well, so they can pass it on to you as well.
So last question, as far as the you're building the business and then also the real estate, what would you say is your biggest struggle?
As far as what?
As far as the real estate thing and starting your credit. I guess real estate credit, they're kind of intertwined.
So you're asking me
what was the biggest challenge for you in the whole real estate process?
Oh, the real estate process. The biggest challenge to me in the real estate process of getting that first house was being disciplined enough not to spend. not to spend. And when I spent, I had to be really mindful that, well, am I using my personal side or my business side? You know what I mean? I really had to pay attention to that because I never wanted my personal side to hit. Because underwriting is looking at that.
Right.
So that was the biggest challenge for me. I was like, man, when are you gonna get to the closing table? Because this individual, the seller that I was getting this house from, this guy was in Colombia.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, like, when we gonna close this? Like, I gotta go to Neiman's, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on and sharing your insight. You said, what was your number again? The phone number that you, for people contact?
267-978-5539.
This was your number at the time.
This is going to be
Is that your number at the time?
Yeah, man. 978-5539. Yes.
Are you familiar with those numbers in the list below, the frequently called, instead of a couple numbers, there's 39 times?
You need some glasses.
Oh, this is a stalker.
They stalkers. Those are official, stalkers. Those are official phone records.
This is
800.
a hotline. What hotline is this?
Launch.
Sorry?
What hotline is this? That was called 39 times?
That was actually a title company. They called me and bugged me.
Title company?
Yeah.
Because this says
1-800-HOT. What's the rest of it?
hot and wet. 1-800 hot and wet. What's the hot and wet?
These individuals.
No, we just want to figure out, like, because there is an ongoing concern in the city with reference to these hotline addictions.
Well, we always do our background checks.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So, is there anything that we could do for you in regards to, you know,
Get you some treatment or something like that?
Yeah, the word.
no, we want you to know we're here. We appreciate you coming onto the show, so we want you to know we're here for you as well.
This ain't my last time coming on the show. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Stanley, for coming on the show. We
y'all appreciate
we'll put
it.
your Instagram and your link in our description so people can contact you via that as well, and also the website.
Uptown now. Building numbers, I appreciate it.
All right, let's do a cheers. Cheers for
Cheers to this great, first episode.
yeah. Stanley coming on the
A
show.
lot of success.
All right, so we just gonna get right into it. I know pretty much all of y'all heard about Tory Lanez, and my question for y'all is: do y'all think people should get a pass for doing dumb stuff when they're drunk? Because I know y'all heard the text message that he sent, allegedly sent Megan, apologizing for shooting her in her foot and whatnot.
So I think there's levels to passes for drunk. Like, you can get a pass for drunk text, or even
That's a famous one.
yeah, or even like, I don't know, maybe even a drunk argument. But when you get physical, mess up people's health, property, or when it gets to legal, like DUI and stuff, I think that's the line. That's where the line gets crossed. And I mean, I don't even, the bullshit he did was shooting was out of pocket. He don't get no pass for that.
Yeah, like, it's one thing, like, even if it got somewhat physical, which it probably did because it ended up in the shooting, but it's like, at the end of the day, she could have died. So, like, that's something, like, super, it's just too serious to like, it's too serious to try to ignore it or whatever.
Somebody, I forget who it was, somebody said, when it first came out, they tried to say she was talking all crazy and reckless and disrespecting them, which made him get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of something somebody could say to me that crazy that would make me shoot them.
Yeah, because I mean, it takes a lot to fire, to pull the trigger. So it's like I don't care how drunk you are, you knew exactly what you was doing. No different from, you always hear women say, "Oh, I don't remember, I was drunk and they slept with this person and that person." It's no excuse for that. Like, at the end of the day, you are an adult and you know exactly what you know.
And it doesn't matter if it's male or male. It makes it worse, kind of worse because it was a female he shot, but it doesn't matter if it's male. If it was a male he shot, he would still been dead wrong too. But it makes it worse because it was a female.
And I think what makes it even more worse, besides it even happening, like it happened during the whole. I don't want to get into that, not this episode, but it happened during literally like the Black Lives Matter movement. So it's like you shot a black woman during the movement, so that's like real bad. Like I honestly feel bad for him. Like I'm like, damn, like why did he do? Like I wish he didn't do that because that was like, that's something you can't live something like that down. Like
You still listen to music?
That's a yes. He still listens currently.
I haven't been listening. Honestly, I haven't been up to date all the way on the music.
Did you start listening to R. Kelly?
Yes. You
start listening to R. Kelly?
I'm gonna say yeah, but that's a great point because I know a lot of older people.
They didn't care.
They did not skip when R. Kelly's song come on, and when "Step in the Name of Love,"
he comes on every part. You know, like,
exactly.
So, So, what's your answer? What's your final answer on canceling? Like, do you feel as though he should get canceled, or is like, let?
I mean, I'm a Christian man, so I always feel like
he should get a second chance.
It's a lot left there. So I understand that it's always redemption and stuff like that.
So are you gonna listen to him or not?
Can I explain first?
He asked you a yes or no question.
I'm gonna get to it's never just a yes or no. It's always an explanation. So I'm a Christian man, God first. And with that being said, the only person who judges is God, and everybody should be, forgive for their sins if they truly, confess that the Lord Jesus Christ is their Savior.
Can you get to the answer? Like, damn, like you doing all this rapping.
Tory Lanez was one of my favorite artists. J. Cole was number one.
I asked you about J. Cole.
I went to Tory Lanez concert. This concert was the most litest concert ever.
What are we talking about?
Can you just answer the question?
So I think if he confessed his sins to Lord Jesus Christ, that he is forgiven, then I will still listen to Tory Lanez.
So in other words, you still will listen to him.
I still listen to him.
I never was a Tory Lanez fan, so I don't listen to. I've never downloaded or listened to
He's like Mano, so we understand.
Mano that work too.
It's different.
Somebody's currently on live, so just answer the question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did answer the question. I said yes. I still listen to Tory Lanez.
Wait till you see who said it.
But that's cool.
What's your answer?
Does he get canceled?
Are you gonna listen to him?
Listen. I haven't been listening to him. I'm not like pressed to listen.
You listen to rap?
Yes, I listen to rap, country rock, country pop, all that. Now, as far as him getting canceled,
you just say you listen to R. Kelly. So.
Now, remember?
No, I didn't say that.
You did say it.
No, I didn't.
What about you have to take into account the Tory Lanez comparison between you and Tory Lanez?
What's that? He look like?
I don't.
Because I heard it like big nose. That's what they said. Let me go see her.
No, I don't. Cancel. I mean,
if Chris Brown could come back from beating Rihanna ass.
Oh, which was worse? Chris Brown beating Rihanna or Tory Lanez shooting Megan?
A shooting.
He almost killed Rihanna.
So which one's worse? Oh well, you think Tory Lanez is worse?
A shooting, like you both are bad, but comparing a fist fight to a shooting is no comparison.
No, but that was they said it was grazed. It just grazed her.
That's what happened. That's not what could have happened.
We're not talking about what could have, because Rihanna headbutted him and that could have gave him a concussion.
Well, remember when she, not taking no sides at all, but remember when she did that, he was driving the car, they could have flipped over and all that.
So that could have happened. So again, they go for like back to back.
But no, a trigger was pulled.
Yeah, when you insert a gun into the situation, it elevates it about
like I'm not
15 times to me. I think it elevated.
Chris Brown did.
God forbid I have to pull out a gun on anybody, but I'm definitely won't be no woman.
Well, man, so we got canceled, no cancel.
How about you?
I don't listen to it. I never listen to it.
I didn't say
How do you
cancel.
feel as though, do you think you should get canceled? Like mind you, when you say canceled, it's like
he gets. I
stop
said,
listening to him.
yeah,
and that's how he make his money. So do you feel as though?
Yeah, no, he's out of here. To me, he's out of here.
So if Mano did the same thing, would Mano be canceled? Because that's your favorite rapper.
First of all, he's not my favorite. Is my favorite rapper.
Mano,
Mano's in my top 5.
I don't know why. It says a lot. Explain.
Top 6. Mano be talking that shit. What you talking about? Now, anyway, if Mano did the same thing, which he wouldn't, because real niggas don't do that. But if he did do the same thing, then it'd be the same outcome. I don't. If you shoot somebody because you're drunk, that doesn't.
We got people in the comments saying cancel.
Yeah.
Let me say this. This is what I don't understand. Right
now, if Fab did it, I'm not gonna give him a pass.
First of all, we heard it was Fab did,
and he's good now.
Anyhow, what I don't understand, right? People shoot women, they shoot kids all the time.
Damn, what?
I'm just saying.
Let me finish.
I'm just saying. It happens all the time. People still hang out with killers all the time. So it's like a rap because he's a rapper. Like, what's the difference?
Because they're in a micro school.
And also, you sign up to be a rapper. You sign up also to be on a pedestal and also to be not a role model, but you sign up to be somebody. Yeah,
if you rap about drugs and stuff like that.
I guarantee you can't find one lyric that he rap about shooting.
You
girls.
don't even listen to his music. What
he says, has he ever rapped about shooting women? No. He
did on his freestyle.
He rapped about shooting women.
He said women in the pools can get it too, or something like that.
Can get not the guns. They can get hit. They get what you need. They're not getting that. Not that they can get shot.
How you know? That's your interpretation. He was telling people ahead of time what could happen at a pool party. He showed what could happen. You gotta listen to their music.
Anyway, we're moving over that. What we talking about?
So I got a good one. I feel as though it's a good one. How do y'all feel about relationships being 50-50? Monetary wise.
Like the bills?
Yeah.
I'm with it.
How about you?
I think.
Here we go with these long answers. Can you just?
I'm trying to explain. I think if I make more than my girl, right, and I don't have a problem with paying the largest bills or whatever, she still has to contribute something.
How do you structure that? Yeah.
I would say I got the mortgage and she can have like the electric bill, and then we go.
So what if y'all make the exact same amount?
Then I would still get the mortgage.
So no matter what, basically you're saying
I'm gonna still take on the more.
And your reason is because that's how you was raised, or that's how you feel the man should.
That's how I was raised, and I feel that that's something that just how I was raised is something that I want to do. You know.
So your dad does it. You watch it?
I'm not opposed to 50-50. I definitely would do it. But I just think that part is like difficult to like decipher nowadays because times change. You know, the way, back in the day coming up, it was like the man take care of the bills, the woman take care of the house.
What was this? What was it?
That was
the 80s.
I don't remember.
My dad definitely was
what you say? All right, keep playing.
My dad definitely he was on that.
So you don't remember that era?
he was on that tip, but like nowadays. Nowadays though, like it's more women working than men.
And making more money than men.
That's why these women
like more women going to college, getting degrees,
and
they making way more money than men.
You hear what he said?
No, what he said?
He said they making less money, that's why they can't cook these days.
Pretty much. And do the majority of the cooking. The roles has changed.
The way I see it is, one, I don't have no problem with 50-50. That's the way it was. That's how it could break down. We could do 50-50. That's fine.
How was it in your household?
In my household, from what I understand, my mom worked, but all her money went to my dad's account, so he paid all the bills. So I don't know how that equals out. But she didn't cook her. What?
Like who did the cooking?
Did Willie do the cooking?
Oh,
you gonna keep playing with me? All right, then stop playing me. But no, if I say I'm okay with 50-50, but I'm also okay What Jamil described was fine. Uptown Mill described was fine with the whole paying the bulk of the bill. You're not going to tell me that's the man's job. No, I'm not with it. You're not going to tell me that's the man's job to pay all the bills. I don't know where that comes from. But I think as a man, he's supposed to be protector, provider, blah, 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 blah. But 50-50, I think it's relative to your own personal situation.
Sure.
When you're dealing with your girl.
Yeah.
And how y'all arrange things. Because for real, y'all get a house. For whatever reasons, it might be in one person's name. For whatever reason, the bills might be in one person's name. So it might work out already that one person's paying all these and these bills are in this person's name, so they pay on all these. I think it's no standard rule for how it should go. I think it should be relative to each person. It's not a cop-out answer. I just think that, because I'm okay with 50-50 if that's the way it goes.
I'm curious though, like,
yeah, I don't really have a problem.
if a man's paying the woman's all her bills.
Yeah, what's she doing with her money?
Exactly. Is it going towards the man? Like, or like, what's she doing with her money? She's stacking it in case he
Nails.
F up or something like that?
With nails and her hair and
Rainy day, hopefully.
Even money.
Getting their body thing.
Mr. Miami. I'm not a fan of that.
The next part of that for relationship stuff is do you think it's possible? Do you think it's actually real to find love on social media?
That's a great one.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
There's a lot of catfish that you probably have to.
No, I'm not talking about finding love and you never meet the person. Meet them in person. I'm talking about like starting, you meet the person on social networks, it builds something. I think that's 100% possible, and I think it's more common there. And I encourage it. One thing I encourage though is that females need to be more assertive as far as DM first. Not particularly from myself, but just in general.
Yeah.
They need to be more.
Well, what's some of the like clues that girls? I guess it's hard to ask as a male, females to ask what's clues they use, but like, do y'all know any clues that women use to come at dudes?
I mean, I heard the whole liking a bunch of pictures at one time, or
That's like some spam type stuff.
No, it was a real person. They do it like 4 times, or did they just straight out
That's
DM?
like spam. And then the bio say like, "Hit me up, you want news?"
Oh.
Or something.
I'm talking about a real person though. I mean, if you want to share a story, have you ever
Experience like what?
like a female pursued you on social media?
Yeah, we might put like it's been a minute. I would say maybe like put like they like you said, maybe like three of my pictures or something like that. And then put ask me just a random question like how are you or something like that. So I'm always like protective over stuff like that. So I don't really respond to DMs, to be honest. I never did. Okay. I'm old school.
So far as that question, I asked around, right? A couple of y'all know all our good friends. They actually said they found love on social media and whatnot. So I asked them, what is the process? Like, how do you go about it? Like, what do you do? Like, or after you pick the girl that you know you got a crush on, what do you do? So they said this is their timeline. The liking picture part, maybe commenting. They might wait a few days, depending on if the person like starts liking their pics back and whatnot. And then, it goes to, it goes down. And then they said the process usually is about maybe a week. After that, they get the number and then they meet in person. So that's what I was told though. But yeah, they said a couple people I asked. I did my research paper. They said a lot of people do find love on social media.
They do?
Ever? Yeah.
What's it?
No, I'm like late to social media, to be honest. Like, I had Facebook forever before I went to.
You could MySpace count.
Yeah, I had MySpace before. I dragged down MySpace until it was over for MySpace.
Yo, can you just answer this
Facebook?
question?
Was Tommy your best friend?
Huh?
Was Tommy your best friend on MySpace?
She was in my top 5. I put her in my top 5.
was?
My top 5. Then I had Jim. I was huge Dipset fans. I had Dipset, all that, and then had music. But it took me a while to get from MySpace to Facebook.
Yo,
Facebook to
all right.
MySpace.
I dig that, but I was
I'm old school. I never did that whole DM stuff.
So your answer is no. You've never had found love on social media? No?
I'm old school. If I see, my approach back in the day was like, I see you walking down the street, no.
Thank you. All right. So, couple current events, just to go over. NFL started today. Fantasy football. Everybody's into that. What time did the Eagles play? You know? What time?
I don't know. Probably
1 o'clock?
Not 1 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Oh, well, it's too late now, but the sleeper pick for fantasy for today is Bart Scott. But it's probably too late now. But anyway,
also another one for Buffalo Bills.
They're playing now.
Oh.
So
Thank you.
He's not a sleeper.
he's not a sleeper.
I thought he was.
But
Did y'all know him?
I did. I did on FanDuel. Look at my phone.
That's cool.
So anyway, NFL started today. The Lakers unfortunately beat the Rockets last night.
Unfortunately?
Yeah, the Lakers unfortunately beat the Rockets last night. So
was it a close series? Because I haven't been. I am a Lakers fan.
You are Lakers, Warriors, Sixers. You are NBA fan. You even got a favorite team.
Everybody that knows me knows.
Who?
All my closest friends know that I'm a Lakers fan. So it says a lot about yourself.
Real quick, since we speaking of Lakers, rest in peace, Kobe.
Oh yeah.
Nipsey.
Yes.
And what else? NFL. Lakers closed out, so it's gonna be Lakers. Oh wait, yeah. The Clippers closed out the Nuggets, right? That's Game 7 today.
Yeah.
So it'll be Lakers versus the winner of the Clippers and Nuggets. No, yeah. So it's gonna be Lakers versus Clippers.
I got Nuggets winning.
The East is gonna be Celtics versus the Heat. I got
the
Heat.
Celtics.
I want Heat to win. I want the Heat to win. I don't know.
I got the Celtics winning that one.
But it probably Lakers and Celtics in the finals.
And then what's that? That's pretty much. Oh, you want to hear something? You want to hear a story? So I was. Here's a short story. Shut up. Cool. I was. This is the most famous. I forget his name is Vadak, something like that. But the most famous tennis player right now, right? Mm-hmm. Most famous, best tennis player in the world.
Kicked out.
Yeah, right now. He's in a match, right? A real important match. And the ball, he messed up a shot, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so, he made he slams the ball with the racket, right? Mm-hmm. And the ball hits one of the line judges in the throat, and she dives in the ground, and he got kicked out of the tournament.
Wow.
For that, and he's like,
they ain't gonna sue him.
No championship, no nothing. He got literally kicked out for that. That's wild to me.
That just happened?
This is last week or 2 weeks ago. But let's see here. I guess the NFL started. People were doing different stuff with the kneeling and stuff. What are they doing?
So what they're doing is they're locking in the arms now instead of
I don't think this is slight to the Black Lives Matter.
I don't think so either. They're not. The crazy thing is they're not doing it during the anthem either.
Then I think about it. If they lock arms during the anthem, it's like still showing some type of solidarity.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But so here's a couple of notes for the podcast. We're going to try to bring as much content, information, entertainment as much as possible. Our Instagram is Splash Bros TV 215. Splash Bros TV 215. If you have any feedback, questions, or comments about or anything in regards to the podcast,
how you like it,
even what's it called? Issues with it, not issues, but like your own take on any of the topics. You can feel free to DM us. We can talk about it in the next episode. So then also. The next episode, the Love Doctor will be making his first appearance.
Yes.
So there will be a call in. So also, if you have needy love advice or relationship advice, DM us as well, and we will set up schedule for you to call in during the next episode. And the love doctor will make sure your love life is intact and fix your love life once and for all. As other than that,
Free of charge too. There's no charge for that.
and other than that, we're glad to be in front of the camera talking to you guys. And Aaron's going to tell us about the poll that we're doing this week, and we'll show the results on next week's episode. Sure.
Okay, so the first poll we're gonna do for Splash Bro TV is it's gonna be about first it's about sex on the first date, or sex on the first night, one night stand basically. How do you feel about them? Are you against them? Do you don't mind? Do you do it? Have you done it before? So when we post the question, please.
So it also will be two answers for the poll. Are you against it, or is it okay? And so that's going to wrap up episode 1, Splash Bros TV. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Splash Bros TV 215. Follow us on Instagram, and we out of here. Last words?
Good show. That's all I gotta say. That's
Flacco?
1 second. I do have one more. Splash Bros TV _215 is the Instagram handle, please.
Right. And subscribe to our YouTube.
I definitely want to give a shout out to Gloria and Danielle for coming on the show.
And Stanley Bond.
Giving us some good insight on, education and how do you actually make your degree work for you. Definitely give a shout out to Stanley Balaj for his real estate insight and credit info. And our cameraman, XM_media, that's MEDIA, does great work. If you need anything, pictures, anything, definitely hit him up. We definitely want to put this on the YouTube, his Instagram handle, so you can reach out to him. But that is XM_media. Media is spelled with 2 A's at the end.
And just to close out the episode, moment of silence for our good friend Molly, who passed a few years ago. It's a wrap.
Yes, sir.
Splash Bros out.